Hey guys, Robert Jordan here. I wanted to kind of give you a little update on your website so that you can see where we're at with it. Also kind of get an idea of where we're going with it. I want to shoot it on video also to give you a little bit of the whys behind it, so that when you're seeing it, when you're looking at it, I'll send you also the link so that you can just go look at it. But I want to shoot it on video so that when you see it and you look at it, you kind of have an idea of some of the decision-making process on why I did certain things. But here it is. Here's the start of it and where we've kind of gone with it. Just to start out with, this is it's actually my second idea. My first idea I did with your website, I tried to use some oranges and some yellows and some dark grays and some dark blacks, a lot of construction-y kind of colors. And when I added your logo into that, I really didn't like where it kind of went, and so I kind of scrapped that idea and started over. And one of the things I really wanted to work hard at doing is getting your full logo onto your website. The difficult part with that is for typical websites, we typically like to use a landscaped size logo that's more of a rectangle going this way as opposed to a portrait logo, which is going up and down. But yours was portrait, which was fine. I was able to do a couple things here to use it and to use it fairly effectively, I think. And I kind of liked what I did with it. Able to get it here on your front page and overhang it a little bit with this slider, and that forced me though to do this really large header here, but that's quite all right because it actually solves another thing for me. I wanted to get your information in front of people pretty darn quickly. I wanted them to see where you're at, a mailing address. I wanted them to see a phone number. I wanted them to have an email. I mean, just right off the bat. So this logo actually allowed me to build this custom thick header and put these three little information spots. Side note, I don't know your hours of operations yet. I'll get that before we finish out. I just threw in some info as I was designing. But anyway, this gets this front and center as people come to the website, which I think is great. If they're looking for your business specifically, that's one of the reasons they come, is just to get this kind of physical information right away. What this is also going to allow us to do is code this as what is called a click-to-call. And so when somebody pulls it up on their mobile phone, for instance, they'll be able just to tap that phone number and it'll instantly call you guys. So I love that. But the downside about this large header is that it is large and it takes up a lot of screen real estate. So I could either choose to leave it at the top so it's not there as you scroll down the screen, or I can code a second menu, which is what I ended up doing. And I kind of like that. It just kind of fades in with your smaller logo right here, but keeps the menu options right in front of people. When you go back up to the top, one of the other things I did with your website was actually because of some of the pictures you sent me. Some of these pictures, for instance, that I've used on the slider, tried to use on the slider, they're not the highest quality in the world. They're not the largest pictures in the world, which means as I started trying to use them and stretch them for a website, the quality really started to degrade quickly. So I chose to do what's called a boxed layout for your website. Instead of going a full width where, for instance, this picture would stretch from here all the way to here, I had to do a box to kind of constrain it to a maximum size. So this is kind of a good solution, and I kind of like what it does. It kind of makes your website just kind of pop and float off of the web page and keeps it within certain proportions without getting too big and too fuzzy. As you can see, the box size changes depending on the size of my web browser, which is great. It keeps our pictures looking okay. Brings us next part of it is a slider. I told you you're going to have a slider kind of highlighting some of your better pictures, and just threw 3 in here for now. The text doesn't have a treatment on it yet, so it makes it a little bit hard to read, but we'll add a text treatment, and I'm going to move that down so it's actually centered. But this is the idea, that you'll have some pretty big headers on here in text, not superimposed onto the picture, so that Google can actually read it and know, hey, this website is about high-end retail construction, and hey, this website is about ground-up construction. So we'll have big headers with some text under it as these scroll, and they'll be set to auto-scroll. And going down from there, I also wanted it pretty obvious to people. Hey, if you're looking for us to quote you something, you can click here. This link doesn't go to anywhere yet, but it'll go to a contact us kind of a page later. From there, scrolling down is where we start highlighting some of your portfolio. Again, I just picked 3 quick images real quick to put on here. And we're going to set, I'm going to give you the ability to set 3 featured portfolio items so that as you add sites, things that you've built onto your website, you can choose, okay, I want this specific portfolio to be, or this specific item to be in portfolio 1 or portfolio 2 or portfolio 3, so that you can always highlight kind of your 3 big projects that you're most proud of, regardless of location, regardless of date, that kind of deal. From there, we're going to have some text in here. This is just some junk text and some junk pictures I just tossed in there just to kind of fill it up. But this is going to give Google a little bit more to work with than what your current website has. We'll fill that in as we get some more about us type stuff filled out. From there, we're going to have another access into your portfolio. This one will just kind of be a running list of your portfolio items. So as you add one, it'll move each of these down further and further into the list. But you can also filter it by location, by type, however we want to set this up to make it real easy for people to kind of look at this and filter it and see what they want to see. Stan had also mentioned that you possibly wanted some kind of map to highlight some of your builds across the nation. As you think through that and whatever your ideas are for that, get those down on an email for me and shoot them my way so that I can kind of look at that. I would, if we're going to do something like that, we would probably make it part of this portfolio page. Make it its own kind of separate page as opposed to being on the front page with a big map. There are a ton of reasons behind that. We can talk about it, though. I'd just love to hear your thoughts about it. By the way, when you do come to this website, most of these links don't work. They're just filler links. They really go nowhere, but it gives you an idea of where we're going with the site. Anyway, once we scroll down from your portfolio here on the front page, obviously we want to highlight some of the people that you build for. So I've got the logos. One of the things you'll need to do, probably Stan, is just kind of get a media release from them. Basically, it says you can legally use their logo. Real simple. You just kind of request it from their marketing department. Most places don't have an issue with that. As I was looking through your packet of information on builds that you've done, I only could find 5 logos or 5 major corporations with logos that I could easily pull up and use. This is actually Burberry's second logo. So for now, we can leave this here. But if you ever have a 6th that we want to use, we can hunt down a logo and put it there. And actually, these will eventually link out to their corporate pages. One of the things that Google does like to see from websites is it actually likes to see them also linking out to other major websites. So we're going to also use that to our advantage with these logos. Not only showing people that you've built for some pretty heavy hitters, but also we're gonna link out to these heavy hitters so that Google favors your website a little bit more than it does. At the bottom, just kind of a little promise note that we can put, or something just kind of to cap it off for people if they've made it all the way down here and want to read. Bottom part of your website, on all of your pages, we're going to put what is called a NAP. It is a name, address, and phone. Google has changed up quite a bit over the last few years on how they look at websites, local websites, and what information they use to rank them. One of the biggest things Google wants to see is your consistent NAP on all of your web pages. It starts preferring websites that do that. So we are going to put Trinity Heritage Construction, your address, and your phone number on every one of your pages on this website at the very bottom. Right here, you see this kind of blank area where it says menu. What I'm going to do here, I think, is I'm going to put links to some of your social networks once we set them up. So we'll set up a Facebook and a Twitter, and we'll put big square logos in color here, so it's a little bit easier for people to see those, click on those, and get to those. We'd also talked about eventually doing employee document access and subcontractor document access. I went ahead and put these at the bottom of your website. I'm thinking this to be more of a sales page for you, and for those items, those people are already bought into you, into your company, and well, you're paying them, so they can scroll an extra little bit to the bottom to access the things they need. But there'll be big buttons so that they can simply click on them, and takes them right to where they would need to go. Again, right now this is not set up yet, so that's kind of where we've gone with it. Again, most of your pages up top don't go anywhere. Most of these links, don't go anywhere. I did throw one link in there very quickly to a contact us page. It is not. I've not done anything with it besides just basically throw some stuff in there just so that you can see a page. The other things that you can actually click on and see here, your portfolio items, I quickly threw them into a junk portfolio page that I mocked up real quick. This is one I'm using for something else completely, but it was real quick and easy for me to import. So when you click on these, just know that we will design a portfolio page that will be easy for you, that will fit what you're doing with these construction companies, and will be easy for you to repeat. So just know that I just use that as temporary filler so that we could get some portfolio items on your front page. But that's about it, guys. If you have any thoughts, concerns, questions, feel free to email me. Love to hear from you soon. Talk to you later.